Hi everyone, welcome to the Synergy Session with Ishkama and IGC. This is Dr. Minakshi Koch from IGC, Vice President, and today our topic is going to be neurodiversity in the workplace. To start with, neurodiversity in the workplace presents challenges related to communication, sensory difficulties, and workplace environments, which can lead to discrimination, stigma, and difficulty accessing the support and accommodations. Today we have got Pranita Salunke with us, who's going to tell us how we can deal with these difficulties, challenges, and how we can actually build an environment where people, neurodiverse people, can work better, we can get better output, and there'll be more inclusion. More detailed breakdown would include communication challenges like ambiguity and complexity, clear communication, sensory overload, workplace environment, sensory sensitivities, open flow plans, sensory friendly spaces, discrimination and stigma, hidden conditions, lack of understanding, mental health impact, addressing the challenges, inclusive recruitment, training and education, accommodations and support, promote open communication, mentoring and support networks, flexible working patterns. About Pranita Salunke, she is a neurodiversity and lifestyle transformation specialist. Pranita Salunke is an occupational therapist with deep interest in neurodiversity as well as chronic diseases prevention. Pranita has successfully achieved credential as an ADHD assessor, and with her experience of working in corporate health, doing workplace needs assessments and helping employees return back to work, she supports individuals to improve their executive skills, improve productivity and performance as well as well-being. So we welcome you, Pranita. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. As you kindly welcome me and given a little bit information about me. So I'm an occupational therapist. Since now 23 years, I graduated from Mumbai, GS Medical College, and subsequently worked in Mumbai as well as since 2005. I've been in UK, NHS, as well as government sector. And I have deep interest in various areas of the clinical expertise: cognition, neurological issues, cognitive issues, as well as cardiovascular diseases. And subsequently, I trained in preventive cardiology. And as I've worked in various different settings, including corporate health, my interest for both the discipline has increased, and I try to gain more and more knowledge every day, as we all do. And during COVID, I have also published a book about lifestyle, positive lifestyle, and well-being. So yeah, I'm passionate about human performance, be it health, be it brain development, be it well-being. So that's about me.
Okay. Um, what does neurodiversity mean, and why is it so important in the workplace?
So yeah, as a neurodiversity, diversity means variation. And what does neurodiversity means is different conditions affects cognition, emotions, as well as sensory processing in individuals. So it can be ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, and few other conditions term as a neurodiversity. And we as a society, viewing them as a disorder to be fixed, we can recognize them as a different way of thinking and processing the world. You informed about the workplace. So in the workplace, neurodivergent employee bring their unique strengths such as creativity, hyper focus on particular
Yes.
problem, and also out of box thinking. And that strength needs to be acknowledged. But they also struggle with usual workplace, for example, strict 8 to 4, 9 to 5 setting, strict time in, time out, as well as there is a culture of open space or open office, and the bright lights due to the sensory overload, and various
Yeah.
different environmental barriers that affects their performance. So, if workplace can recognize their strengths as well as difficulties, then
Yeah.
neurodiverse talent can thrive and we can achieve true diversity.
True, true. What do you think are the most common misconceptions we have about neurodivergent employees?
So, for example, like one of the misconception is like disability, like, and this is one of this is common for all disabilities or different abilities rather, that they need a lot of support, they need like constant support, but this is not true. That with the right environmental strategies, with right support, may it be coaching, training, or peer support, individual employee can be highly independent and productive. And other misconception can be that all neurodiversity, all uh, diagnoses are the same, but we cannot keep them in one box. There is a
Mm.
spectrum. Like, for example, it's called ASD, autism spectrum disorder, because one person with that condition may present with different challenges compared to other person. So individual variability, like in all human being, needs to be recognized. Um, Another common misconception is they want to be secluded, they don't want to be social. But that's not true. Every human being want to be social. It's a basic human need. And even those with autism or the neurodiversity want to be included, just different communication style. They may prefer written over verbal communication. They may prefer to be like, rather than large group, small one-to-one conversation. So these are some of the misconceptions.
What are some simple yet impactful workplace adjustments that can support neurodivergent employees?
Well, we can find, usually it is depending on the individual need. So some of the simple strategies can be employee with sensory overload, and he is in open office space. So for him, noise cancelling headphone, flexible work from home strategies, or the assistive technology can help to be more productive and perform better.
Do you think managers and HR professionals can create a safe space for such employees as per their needs? What would be their role?
HR and leadership team, right?
Yeah.
Well, HR and leadership team has a duty of care, especially as I wanted to discuss about the legislation as well. Disability Act 2010 states that everyone should be given the opportunity, right, to work, and reasonable adjustment needs to be in place to avoid discrimination of people with a disability. And that disability not necessarily may need to be diagnosed or labeled, but the individual employee may be suffering with with difficulties, the impairments or challenges in their day-to-day life, in their work life. So for them, giving the support is a legal requirement.
Yes, so as per the 2010 Disability and Equality Right, where it has been stated that you cannot discriminate against disability and you have to do reasonable adjustments. Employees can fight it.
Employees can what?
Employees can fight it, and they can ask for the adjustments, and it is the legal right that they can pursue for this, right?
Yes, reasonable
And if
adjustment.
there is any, and if there is a discrimination, they can fight this, and they do not have to, and the HR has to, the team has to, leadership team has to accommodate them and their needs.
So there is a very soft word they have written in the law. There is a reasonable adjustment, right? So they have to consider what are the reasonable adjustment. They have to work to get needs meet for the employee, because it's all about their well-being, financial and every the holistic well-being,
Yeah.
and at the same time uh, business as well. And they, if they are recruited, even for the recruitment process, they need to support uh, to avoid discrimination act. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what role does assistive technology play in supporting autistic and neurodivergent professionals?
So there are various assistive technology, but again, it shouldn't be like a cookie cutter approach. That's very important, because otherwise, people with all kind of neurodiversity can demand very
Yeah.
different assistive technology when it is not needed, because relying on something outside of you, if it is not required, it's unnecessary. One, waste of the resources. Secondly, also to truly shine and truly inform the world about your own capability, your unique capability. However, because of the processing challenges, because of the sensory issues and the speed of understanding, some of the assistive technology can be helpful. For example, Microsoft Read Aloud.
Okay.
um, People with autism, or people with any neurodiversity, finding it processing slow processing, they can use a Microsoft Read Aloud to listen what they have written, um, uh, like especially if it is a long paragraph, to
Yeah.
improve the response accuracy, and rather than needing them to read sentence by sentence, which may take
Yes.
longer
Yeah.
time. Then Grammarly will, in a busy work environment, when you are writing uh, different, either emails or you're writing for your work, um, there could be errors, and Grammarly can help in real time to um, improve the grammatical errors, reduce the grammatical errors, and therefore improve the communication between the team and management. So yeah, there are various tools for note taking, even task management. However, as I earlier said, it's not a cookie cutter approach. You have to be find out what that individual employee, the person, is dealing with, and suggest accordingly.
Okay. From your experience as an occupational therapist and workplace strategist, what are the most effective interventions for supporting employees with
Um,
neurodiversity?
so, like I mentioned earlier, some of the biggest barrier that employee with the neurodiversity face are rigid work environment, right? open plan office, or like meeting, like constant meeting or constantly seeing different faces and strict schedule. So instead of that, like just finding out what works better for that employee to be more productive, at the same time feel uh, conducive to their well-being. So flexible work strategy, maybe work from home, or instead of like starting day early, maybe can they start late and finish late,
Mm-hmm.
staggered start stop time, things
Yeah.
like that. If there is sensory overload, that's another barrier. What can be done to, like, instead of fluorescent light, can different lighting be considered in their cubicle or in their where they're working? If it is like, loud noise work going on in office, can there be like loud voice cancelling headphones
Yeah.
can be done, given. Another very important and simple, it's not costly, instead of like giving, because a lot of people with neurodiversity, if the manager give them the verbal instructions, like given like 5 6 stages instruction, the processing challenges may mean that they have forgotten second or third step, and they may
Yes.
remember first step and their last step. So to avoid those, give small instructions. And once you give that verbal instruction, like send email, send it in writing, so that they know what to do, like, step by step, rather than just verbally and once in for all. So those are the few technique or strategies
That's
employees.
brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, that will really help them. Yeah.
definitely.
Do you have any personal experience or story that you'd want to share where you have seen a major transformation in, when they have accommodated these or implemented these strategies?
Yeah, like I have worked with one individual who was into the finance. Like he was manager in the finance like company, and late diagnosis of ADHD,
Mm.
and the company has recently shifted to open plan office. They, after COVID, they forced the employee to come back to work, like majority of the time, and he really was struggling. So upon intervention, one of the things was flexible working, as like, 4 days from work from home, 1 day in office, so that it's a reasonable adjustment. um, uh, the face to face that management wanted interaction was there, and then there was accountability of him giving, uh, 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 emailing what objective has been achieved. So and what the challenges are, as well as when he is in the office, making sure he's in like, quieter area of the office, and if he needed to be in the meeting, that he is getting that note taking software. So that has really like, as well as ADHD coaching, executive skill training. So that
Mm.
has really helped him to improve the performance, but not only that, the confidence in which
Yeah.
he works. Because um, as you may be aware, that any different ability affects, if it is not supported, it affects confidence, self-esteem, and
Yes.
sometimes mental health as well. So that it's the earlier you asked me the question about HR or leadership supporting, and I answered about the Disability Act, that they have to, but it's not just the act. It's about being human and supporting each other
Yes.
to thrive. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it is about being human. It's about being accommodating. Not just because there's an act and someone's asking you to legally do it. It's because you,
Okay.
as a person, should be passionate enough. You have to have that empathy towards another individual. Only because they are differently abled, it doesn't mean that we can just, not include. Um, how
Yes,
has
and
your personal journey shaped your perspective on workplace inclusion for neurodivergent individuals?
Yeah, my personal journey as a clinician, as also like, being a mother and being a friend and seeing people,
Mm.
as well as um, my passion about well-being and health has really helped me optimizing health. So we when we think about workplace or neurodiversity as an exclusion, then we limit ourselves. But rather than thinking this different ability as just a issue with cognition with the brain, if we think it as the holistic, then the intervention we do changes. So thinking about giving the holistic support along with reasonable adjustment, nutrition, so healthy eating, and mindfulness play a huge role in enhancing focus, energy, as well as emotional regulation for employees with the neurodivergent issues. For example, the research shows that omega 3, so foods including omega 3 like walnut, flaxseed, or oily fish such as salmon support focus and cognition in employees with ADHD and dyslexia.
Mm.
While gut friendly foods such as yogurt, fermented food, and like various various fermented food, pickles help with the regulating mood in autism. And also the research has linked the highly processed food, sugar, with reducing or with increasing the hyperactivity. So
Hmm.
it's really important to like get rid of those highly processed diet, especially the packaged food you see. And like you may be aware, like, in the marketing, food marketing, from the beginning, the toddler age, the marketing for processed food, biscuits, and sugary drink is is been all over media, and therefore it's easy to just grab the can of soda or can of the fruit juice, or
Hmm.
rather
Yeah.
than cutting fresh food. But that really affects the neurological network of the brain. Then the other thing, like, having rainbow diet really helps with the gut brain axis. Protein rich food, magnesium rich food such as nut, leafy green, help with the dopamine levels in your brain, helps with the stress management. Mindfulness really helps to improve the focus and managing the emotions. So, some of the shift in the workplace can be along with the reasonable adjustment we discussed, to allow
Yeah.
the short mindfulness break, to allow people to, like, if possible, have healthy snacks available. Things like that can help not only the workplace or policy, but also support employee holistically.
Correct. Yes, totally agree. Coming to a very important point now, second half, I would say. What are the key legal obligations for employers when it comes to supporting neurodivergent employees in the workplace
Yeah, I think we covered that earlier. The main
with the
act,
Disability Act? Yes.
yeah, Equality Act 2010 in the UK. that
Mm-hmm.
employer must provide reasonable adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
And failure to do that, then that can lead to legal risk.
Okay. How
And
can
I,
organizations?
as again said that, like, that adjustment doesn't need to be costly to have the a whole list of assistive technology. It can be as simple
Exactly.
as, written instruction followed by verbal instruction. That's not
Yeah.
costly, that's free.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Totally agree. How
Mhm.
can organizations shift from awareness to action when it comes to neurodiversity and inclusion?
So, as you may know, like, there is a neurodiversity week, there is autism awareness week or month, then there is a mental health awareness week. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's great. Like, and when there are lots of emails and talks happening in the organization during that week, that month. But then what happens? You know
Yeah, exactly.
so instead of thinking about just specific awareness days, think it as a culture. What can be done year round,
Yeah.
rather than weekly.
Just make
And
it a practice, like it should be there, irrespective of the time of the year, or because it's only like now we are having this today because this is an Autism Awareness Month. But we
yes,
don't talk about it, have regular sessions like throughout the year. And even if we do, when do we actually implement what we are, how much do we practice what we preach?
exactly.
Yeah.
And just to think about it in the perspective, this is Autism Awareness Week. Last month was Neurodiversity month, but that individual is not working for the organization only in this week, only in this month. He or she is there for the entire duration, like 12 months. So we have to support them year round so that there is better productivity and better well-being for the employee. So
Yeah,
win-win.
exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
totally agree.
And then thinking about training the management, because all changes happen usually from top to bottom. So training the manager is the key thing. Yeah.
Mm, mm, right. Beyond policies, what cultural changes can workplaces make to truly embrace neurodiversity?
Um, Making it as a culture,
Okay.
thinking like I already mentioned, thinking about like just 1 week to the year-round approach, um, and focusing on the strength rather than what's lacking.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, thinking about the strength of that individual employee, and if you have to performance management for that individual, thinking about their unique strength. So not necessarily doing the personal developmental review as a cookie cutter approach for all the individual. How
Yeah.
that individual with neurodiversity is performing in their own unique strength needs to be considered. Um,
Yes.
yeah, and making this reasonable adjustment or making accommodation available without friction or without really have to fight that individual, making it safe for
Mm.
them to,
Yeah.
feeling of the safety, making sure that it's a confidential process so that they feel that they can open up to the management.
Yes. It should neither be like it shouldn't be like a favor, and it shouldn't also be so difficult to ask or to get that it feels like a favor. I'd say because it's the right, because this individual is bringing in something with them, right? It is like you said, they are gifted, they have got focus, or they have got some special traits because of which they can really benefit the organization. So it is not something that they should have to ask for. It basically comes as a right because they are also employees and they are giving to the organization.
Yes, they may have to ask for in terms of like what specific need is there. Like, there may need to be, like, for example, they may need to get support from the external person, either ADHD coach, occupational health, anyone to understand, like, what specific needs are there. But
Specific
they,
needs, yeah,
yeah,
they have to express what exact needs they have, but again, it
exactly.
shouldn't be like they need to fight for it. When they're asking, it is something, a basic need, like it's for you and me. It would be, say, yes, at this time I need a break in the whole day. Of course, I need a lunch break because I'll be hungry. So
Yes,
similarly, when we talk about their needs, it is as essential as breathing and eating, because for them, say for example, a movement break, and then which will be more frequent. So they shouldn't have to ask for it. It should be something that they have already expressed that I need this, or like you said, open spaces. Them saying that, okay, I would need this part of the office, or I don't think I cannot work when it is this spread out.
yes.
So those
So
kind of things.
usually when, for example, when we do the evaluation, we understand unique strengths of that employee, what are the barriers, and what is the work responsibility. What are the work
Yeah,
responsibilities, um, environment, as well as their actual job, and what can be done with their strength, with their barrier, to fulfill those responsibility. It can mean
yes.
like reducing the workload to two-thirds, for example, in the
Hmm.
beginning,
Yeah,
right? And then staggered approach towards its fulfillment with the support, with the buddy system, with the training, things
yes.
like that. Again, like what I'm saying is it's an individualistic support
Approach, yes.
um, for specific employee. But we are talking here on the larger scale. We're talking about having the culture of inclusivity, having
Yeah,
open mind, and having willingness to support that employee. Yes.
yeah, right. Okay, how do you see workplace neurodiversity evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think there is a lot of talk about neurodiversity, and people are becoming more aware of their challenges, and they're seeking diagnosis, um, which in a way it's a good thing, because once you are aware what you are dealing with, then you
Mm,
can take appropriate support, appropriate intervention. So company also will recognize, hopefully, the strengths and the positive about the employees with neurodiversity, because as you may be already aware of, there are so many um, excellent people in the past, present, with neurodiversity. Albert Einstein, Charles Darwin. So their unique creativity, their hyper focus, their ability to stay consistent on the task has created innovations, right?
yeah.
So more and more organizations are recognizing their unique strengths, and there will be much more active recruitment of neurodivergent talent, as well as support in terms of neuro-inclusive workspace, giving the reasonable adjustment, as some of which we discussed, and creating more policies and getting support for that implementation of those policies. I think that would be evolving more.
Fingers crossed. I just hope that happens.
Yes.
What advice would you give to the organizations looking to lead the way in neurodiverse inclusion?
Simple, like rather than overcomplicating, just think it as a uh, have a vision what you want to achieve, but start small. Meaningful
Hmm.
changes happen when neurodiversity is into daily work culture. It can be just starting with the training your leadership, training the top of the organizational team to understand what are different conditions, what are the languages um, we can communicate employees with the neurodiversity, and what are the some of the things which we can place. Like, start small, just being more aware and create more
Hmm.
awareness. That's what I would say.
Hmm. That's actually what's needed. Even I
Yes.
think. Yeah. What
Training, more
message?
education is what needed. Yeah.
Yes, yes. What message would you like to leave for leaders, managers, and neurodivergent individuals listening today in this podcast? What do you think would be one message that you'd want to give both the employees and employees? I think.
Uh, so management or employers embracing diversity like we embrace every individual person on the on the planet. It's a humanity, and it's a recruiting and supporting neurodiverse talent. It's not only ethical,
Yeah.
you have a competitive advantage because of the strengths they bring. So yeah, support them is my message to leaders. And for individual dealing with neurodiversity, like, don't don't let the system dictate you. Like, really embrace your unique strengths. You have something special. Even with the challenges, you can shine dealing with those challenges with the right support, and also embracing those strengths so that you can really shine and be a productive member of the society.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect message. Thank you so much, Pranita. And today we are really grateful for your valuable interactive session. And we'd want to learn more and hear from you again. And because this is a short session, we will have to have one more session where, we open it to other viewers so that they can also come, join, and ask questions. Once again, about Pranita. She has worked in government sectors such as various NHS trusts and councils, as well as in India for more than 23 years as a clinical practitioner. She is also an author of the book Vitality, A Healthy and Happy Heart, Three Keys for Sustained Weight Loss, Type 2 Diabetes, Control and Stress Management. The principles described has helped many of our clients as well as readers to achieve optimum health, reverse chronic conditions, and achieve a sense of happiness. So thank you so much for your session today, Pranita, and we hope to have you again in the
Yes,
IGC
definitely.
Synergy Session.
And if you want, like, I provide like support to the organizations for helping their neurodiverse talent or different able talent to perform in terms of inclusion and training and conducting workshops. So
That
uh,
would be perfect. That
if
would be
you want
perfect.
to share my LinkedIn and website, I'm happy to share with you.
Yes, if you would give it to me, I would also put it when I am adding on our social media. So,
Definitely.
so that people can approach you easily.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
I really want people, organization, individual people and organization to think as inclusive as possible. Thank you for giving the
Yes.
opportunity to speak.
Thank you so much, Pranita. So for the till next time, see you all, and have a good Tuesday. Take care. Bye.